These are your essentials when you're writing songs. The key, otherwise known as the pitch, tempo, which BPM stands for beats per minute, and that's the speed at which the songs are played. The form, how you structure your form, from intro to chorus to bridge, and then the lyrics, all the songwriters and how they write their lyrics. The duration, that's how long your song plays for. The instrumentation, that's self-explanatory, what instruments were used to create this music, and then the credits. Because a lot of people just kind of, that's what I like about Spotify, is that you can go to the credits and you can actually see who the songwriters are and who the producers are. Because nowadays there's so many collaborations. I want to know who these people are so that I can do some extra research to find out more information about them. So that being said, now, if you're going to pick a song and you want to deconstruct it so that you can see what it's made out of, let's start. Let's take a look at this is Bruno Mars, right? And I picked this song, Grenade, because it was released as like a regular record, pop record, did very, very well. But then after it did well, they went and they performed it acoustically. And there was something that Martin had said when we were back on one of these chats almost a year ago. And he was telling me that it's important to all the songwriters to understand that when you put a record together, when you put a song together, it's great with all the production, but at its core, you should be able to perform this song with minimal music, like just a piano and a voice, or just a guitar and a voice. So this way you know that your songwriting skills are solid and that they're good. So what I found interesting about this is we're going to do it backwards so that you guys can hear and see the difference, right? So here we go. Now when I say you need to know the pitch and the key of the song, this is a DJ app, right? I literally take a song from my desktop and I drop it in here. And when I drop it in, what does it tell me? It tells me that the tempo right here is 98 beats per minute. And it also tells me up here, it says the key is F, but I know the song is in minor, so it's D minor. This is the record, Bruno Mars, the acoustic record. So, there's a lot of things to point out. First of all, can we all just agree that this young kid, man, Peter Hernandez, aka Bruno Mars, I've seen these guys live. This guy's vocal range is just, it's an uncharted territory. His top end of his vocal is just so incredible. So listening as a listener, he inspires me. I listen to this stuff and I try to not analyze it, but over the years I've learned, as I said earlier, to stop trying to analyze and listen as just a regular listener. Now I've got this ability where I can kind of do it all at the same time. So the first thing that you notice about this record is the pitch, right? So this is D minor, right? But the tempo for this version of this acoustic version is 98 beats per minute, where the original, I think, is, let's see, I dropped the original in here. It's at 110.5. So let's just assume that everybody knows that record, that everybody's heard it. So when you get to this acoustic version, which I think came afterwards, the beats per minute, 98. The key is D minor. So knowing this, as the song is playing, the first thing that jumps out, just like the rest of you, I'm reading the chat, that cello and the piano are just so beautifully performed, and they pull you into this song that you kind of forget that its duration is over 4 minutes. Most songs today are between 3:15 and 3:30, I think. But this one, it pushes 4 minutes because it's a little slower, but artistically, you don't notice that because it's just so incredible, right? So you hear piano, you hear string section, you definitely hear some background vocals, And I think there's sounds like acoustic guitar or maybe a harp or something very lightly playing. So that's the instrumentation. Now, this is what I was talking about when it comes to form, and this is the part where the song hacking section of the title of this webinar comes in handy. Because when you're constructing your own song, it could be daunting. You've got your notebook out or however it is that you start writing, and you're looking at that blank page and it's like, oh, where do I start? What do I do? Do I have an idea? I don't know. How can I do this? Well, one way is you look at this song. There's an 8-bar intro. Now, looking at my screen, I think you guys can see this here. That's this section here. It's an 8-bar intro, and it has a lot of swells and reverse pianos. But once we begin, we're here. We are into an 8-bar verse. Now, I think you can see, I just have to move my little zoom stuff. This whole section here, as the song is playing in my software, I'll go through, and if I turn this volume down so we can kind of carry the conversation. So this is verse 1. So right here, I'll start labeling this song or writing down on a piece of paper, 08. That means 8 bars, meaning that a bar is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 bar. So that's 8 bars right there. Now we're into a different section of the song. I like to call this part of it the B section. It doesn't matter what your terminology is, whatever works for you. Some people would call this a pre-chorus, but sometimes I run into songs that have a B section and a pre-chorus. So I'll use a B section. The music changes, the melody changes a little bit. So here we have this section, and as it's playing, I'm grabbing these little yellow markers and I'm just dropping it in randomly. So I know that delineates set 8-bar section. That's the end of that. Now, I think there's only really a couple of chords here, right? There's a little latency from when I hit these keys, I'm sorry. There's 2 chords, a D minor and an A. And when you get to the end of this, there's, I think there's a B flat chord. Then I'd catch a grenade for you. So the point is there's not a lot of chords in this, and this song is really driven by the melody and the performance of the singer. So I go through, I start writing as this is going slow. I'll write verse 1, B section 1, 8-bar, chorus 1. And then they have what I call a turn, where it's just a little, you know, it's just a little piano interlude for 4 bars before the form repeats again. So then you have the verse 2, which is 8 bars. You have an 8-bar B section, another 8-bar chorus, another post-chorus that comes in at 6 bars. Now, after this 6-bar post-chorus, instead of going to the little turn, he takes it to the bridge. Okay, something I want to point out here that's so beautiful about this arrangement. The other thing that I do is I'll go online. I think I usually go to like azlyrics.com or something like that. And I'll grab the lyrics to whatever song I'm using. And in my software here on the left side of the screen, I drop in the lyrics to the song so I can see it. And then as I figure out the chords, some people don't know exactly what all the chord structures are in some of these songs, and that's fine. You know, you don't need to know that. I do it so if I want to pick something apart, you know, that's the musicality side for my craft. If I want to pick something apart, I can. And what I noticed about the bridge to this song in this acoustic version compared to the commercial release, the regular radio version, right here, you can see this is the bridge. I just highlighted it. So they're doing this. Na, 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 na. And on the album, on the commercial radio one, it goes back to back to the A, right? But in this version, what they did that was beautiful is they started on the G minor, which is the 4, and went to that, very colorful. Then they went to this, an E flat major 9 chord. And it's just so nice how they took the same melody and reharmonize the chords around because the song is that beautiful. And you wouldn't really catch this if you didn't take a second to kind of like deconstruct what they were doing. You can see the difference between the two different versions, just one has a different interpolation, but they're both cool. They both serve a different purpose. However, at the core of it, the basic melody and the song is a great song. The structure is still the same. Even though the bridge is 8 bars, it's how you approach the chord structure within that 8, and the melody's still the same. That's how they kind of change the whole emotion of it because the tempo's slower. So you really can grab onto what he's doing vocally. That's like, it's really smart how they did this version. I'm a huge fan. I'm just saying. It's just really smart. Now, the other thing you might notice in my session is up